I think by now our La La Land episode will come out, and that was an Oscar winner, and that thing disappointed us. I think more than we thought it would. This is a 7-time Oscar winner, and it lived up to like everything everyone said it was all at once.
Everything everyone said plays in my head all at once.
All at once. It's just hate and hate and hate. Just bouncing off the temples. We get a lot of hate mail. I don't show it to you guys because I want to shield you from the horrors.
Get zero hate mail.
Dude, all we get is hate mail.
I can't wait till I get my first letter of hate mail. I want it to be directed at me personally.
They don't even mail them anymore.
Come at me, bro.
That's not hate mail.
Call me bald in a letter and send it to me, you bitch.
You're just repeating things I've said to you, Steve. What the heck?
I know, it's terrible. No, you know what? Screw that. I'm going to be a rock. I'm going to be the most glorious boulder ever put to the desert.
They were just regular rocks.
No, I'm going to be
a special rock.
I'm going to be...
The ones in the movie were normal. You can't have a special one.
Yeah, don't expect to come out being Mount Rushmore, okay?
Listen,
right?
You start as a pebble.
You might be disappointed
Mount
with your...
Rushmore is going to look up at me.
So,
okay?
Now you're a mountain.
I'm a...
Okay.
Like, what are mountains if not giant rocks?
I mean, they're made up of giant rocks.
Yeah.
I figured out the universe, unlocked my third eye, and Danielle smacked her head.
I smacked my head. I forgot my microphone's turned to the side.
You okay?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, good.
Steve wants to be a rock.
I am a rock. And you know what?
He's most of the way there.
Welcome to the Rockcast. This is every rock in the book. I'm Rock Steve.
I'm Rock Danielle.
Do I have to do it too?
You could be Pebble,
no,
but
no,
it needs to be a rock.
I want to be Pebble.
I'd rather be...
Right.
I'm Pebbles the third.
Okay. What's your rock name, Michael?
Me?
Let's get it. Yeah.
I have no rock name. I am all the rock names.
You are all the rock names at once?
He's every rock everywhere all at once.
Wow.
Every
rock.
That's
all
oddly convenient because you know what movie we did this week?
Couldn't have been...
No,
everything.
I think it was.
Was it?
Yeah, I think it was.
Was it everything?
I mean, it was everywhere, though.
All at once? Maybe?
Yeah, it did.
I think that was it.
There was a lot happening.
I think that was it.
And welcome to every film, everywhere in the book.
This is now a rock podcast because we did everywhere, everything, balls to the wall, action, martial arts, time trippy, awesome outfits that I'm like super jealous of.
Yeah, I don't have any of those clothes, and it upsets me.
This movie is, I mean, I think the best movie we've done so far.
Are you trying to say? Are you trying to say that this is the best movie you've ever seen ever?
All at once.
Yeah.
No, seriously, is this in your top 3 favorite movies of all time?
This was a surprise. Like, I knew it was going to be cool, but I didn't think it was going to be this cool.
It was pretty cool.
This is what I wanted.
It's a little better and cool.
Yeah, no, cool. This is what I wanted that Doctor Strange movie to be. Like, just trippy, like multiversal craziness. And I didn't get it with that, but I definitely got it with this. And I don't regret that 2 hours and 20 minutes we spent.
It's what I've been looking for.
Yeah, like the first half hour of the movie felt extremely long, and then the last hour and 30 minutes felt really fast.
Oh my God. Like that, once it hit that second part, like, because they break this movie up into 3 parts, and surprisingly, they're everything. everywhere, and then all at once.
If you couldn't have guessed, they hit us with the obvious early on.
Yeah, but once that second part hits, I was it like that ending came up so quickly. It was insane. Like I got so lost in that, like the emotions of that second part, that I was like, all right, I'm sold. You guys deserve everything. What can I give you? Like,
how many Oscars?
Come to my house. I'm gonna give you some of my stuff because you've earned it. That was a great movie.
It was pretty good. I don't think I've ever seen anything like this, and it's funny because when we started this movie, Michael asked, "What genre did they list that in?" And I was like, "Michael, it's everything."
This movie
Every
is
genre.
above genre.
Yeah.
It is transcended.
Yes.
It really, like, I don't think I could put this in one category. I mean, overall, it's a little more sci-fi than anything else. But
Right.
there's a lot of action. There's comedy. There's drama. It's literally everything you could ask for.
Yeah.
All I'll say is, if you ever wanted to see people use a butt plug as a point of interest, watch this movie.
Point of, what do they call it? Point of transportation? Point of,
yeah, I mean, technically it was a point of
transcendence?
transportation.
I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can consider that. Mhm.
I mean, it was good enough that a dude literally did like a butt slam onto one.
yeah, I've never seen anybody jump into the air with their legs spread and land ass first on a butt plug.
Thank you, movie. Hey, buddy who directed this, thank you. That was incredible. I will give you points off, though, because you censored the willy and the taint. And I feel like we, as the viewing audience...
I want the taint cut.
I was expecting it. Like, as soon as the guy got up in the air,
Yeah.
I was like, it's blurry.
It's like, come on.
Michael got really upset.
I was like, why is it... This is hilarious. Why?
I want to see the taint.
If I can watch a Jackass movie and see Steve-O's penis
right
in like 4K restoration, give me this guy.
And in my head, well, that's obviously going to kill him. So I definitely want to watch that. Like, okay, it's going to kill him. Yeah, this is going to be cool. Oh, it's blurry. I don't even get to watch all the way.
I wanted to see the taint.
I will shed a tear tonight for the lack of taint.
Oh my god, if anyone has not seen this movie,
yeah, you're
gonna
yourself,
be very confused.
Yeah, you're doing yourself a disservice if you listen to this without watching that movie
for
first.
Sure.
Because we are not going to do this justice. And
no.
there is so much to talk about, and we're going to skim most of this, I'm sure.
Yeah.
We can't talk about everything. It was 472 different things.
Yes.
We could be here for years talking about this one movie.
So strap in for our first 5-hour podcast. This is just part 1 of 50.
Part 1. And when I get tired, I'm just going to tap into somebody else and they'll continue. You'll just see me.
Oh no, Michael's transcending.
If you see me give myself a paper cut,
oh no,
run.
Oh my God.
I'm going beast
about
mode.
To rip a tear.
It took so much in me not to throw up at that part. It's, oh my God, speaking of Jackass, it's like when they do it in Jackass. Yeah. I'm so uncomfortable. Ugh.
It's like they took inspiration from everything, everywhere, all at once.
Oh my God.
How many times can we say that during this podcast?
I don't know. Somebody keep a tally.
Every time.
Right
yeah. I want to put a counter on the side.
Every time we say the name
video.
of the movie?
Yeah.
Oh my God. Man, that timer will have to be everywhere. Shit. Anyway.
I'm going to count that.
All right. Give us a half point for that one.
Okay.
We don't know half points.
No
you
half
either
points.
succeed or fail. No. No conceding on half points.
All right. Fair enough.
It's either everything or nothing.
Yes.
All at once.
It must be all or none.
All right.
God.
No one's going to listen to this. Okay, here we go.
Now, for the 2 of you that are left for this portion, let's get into it. So the movie starts. We're met with our main character.
I remember the first scene was just a mirror.
Yes.
And we
it was
see
a
all of
great
them
fucking
laughing.
shot. Like, this whole thing is like filmed through that first mirror, and like I literally said, I was like, oh shit, if that camera goes through that mirror, I'm gonna lose it.
You said something else.
Yeah,
but
well, there's
we'll
kids
censor
watching.
that.
Don't worry
Okay.
about it. There's a Canadian watching.
There's no kids watching.
Warning, this is not appropriate for young viewers.
Spoilers. But Evelyn is sitting at a desk and she's going through a bunch of her tax paperwork. And just to give you a little fun fact about this, to hide the plot of this movie, they actually made it, like the description before the film came out was just an elderly lady tries to do her taxes. And that's all they gave you for like the description of what this was before they came out.
Really?
Well,
And then like after seeing it, I was like, okay, yeah. No, I mean, that's the simplest way I think you can describe the plot of this. Is just her trying to get her taxes done.
Yeah, but the most convoluted way to try to get your taxes done ever.
Yeah, normally I just use TurboTax. This lady transcends dimensions.
you should have used TurboTax, and conveniently, that is the sponsor of today's episode.
Hey, are you like me and you suck at everything?
Try TurboTax.
I don't think you're
Even
allowed to say
idiots
that.
can do their tax.
I don't think you're allowed to say that at all.
We are not sponsored by TurboTax,
Not
but
at
if
all.
you want to sponsor us, TurboTax.
But yeah, so she's trying to do her taxes, and you can kind of see like her life is kind of hectic. Like she's bouncing all over the place. Like her daughter's trying to get her attention, her husband's trying to get her attention, and all she can focus on is trying to run her laundromat business, keeping her father like comfortable and happy while he's living with them, and like we start getting like context clues like that things are really falling apart with her life, but it seems like she's definitely too busy to notice this.
She handles it well. There's so much going on, and there's a lot of overlapping conversations, and it makes it feel chaotic the way that they filmed that, which was kind of cool.
Well, not only that, but it's like the way they use the dialogue. They're bouncing back and forth between different languages, and like sentences will start in English and then they'll bounce to a different language, and it's like it kind of it's a good way of showing like that chaotic nature.
Well, they give you everything right at the start.
Right.
And it's the same amount of information across the whole film, which is kind of taxing. No pun intended. Right?
Oh my God.
It's terrible. Absolutely terrible. But they give you so much right from the start. You keep expecting that, and they keep giving it to you.
Yeah.
So, like, they got up to speed immediately. I think the opening is a little longer of a shot, and then bang, it kicks off.
Yeah, like once you start getting like the glimpses of the husband in these opening scenes, like start like flipping around customers, and like you only see him in like security cameras, and you see like something weird is going on, but until like he kind of makes contact with Evelyn and like kind of explains the whole situation, then like we're just off. Like you're like, oh, who gives a shit about this like laundromat or like her making her dad happy? I'm like, oh shit, she's like a universal warrior.
Right.
Like,
Yeah, that's really the turning point of the whole movie, and that's when the first moment you realize anything at all that's going on. And it's very confusing, and they throw you right into it, and they make you, I guess, feel like she does, where it just comes out of nowhere, and then it's just like freaking pedal all the way to the floor. Like
immediately overwhelmed, way too much stimulation, the whole movie.
Yeah.
They just pile on you.
but yeah, like, so she's going about her day, and the husband kind of like snaps into this alternate personality, and he's basically explaining to her like, hey, you're in trouble, somebody's coming after you, like you need to follow what I say. And he gives her like these old like Bluetooth cell phone things.
Yeah.
I was like, that's the first time I've seen these things in like freaking years. It's awesome.
With the plastic piece that goes over your ear.
Dude, I swear most of their budget went to digging these things out of like some landfill somewhere just to use them in the movie.
Out of Radio Shacks that once were.
Well, I think they were gaudy enough that we noticed.
Right.
And then eventually they were doing it without them.
Yeah.
So they kind of were like, this is a thing we're doing. Okay, we got it now. All right, we don't have to use the weird looking stuff.
Yeah, but they also never really over-explain any of those things. We just always assume like, oh, when she hits the button, that makes her go into another universe. But they never over-explain it. They just place them on her ears, and then it just is. And it's like there's a lot of things like that in this movie where you just understand it somehow, even though they don't explain
No,
it.
never.
Well, they really
Yeah.
put a lot of faith in the audience to just go with
Yeah.
it. Like, once
Yep.
they kind of set up this premise of this guy can travel dimensions, he's here to save her and save her throughout all these, like, dimensions. So, like, once they kind of establish that, they're just like, all right, you better buckle in because, like,
Here we go.
you still have, like,
Here we
2
go.
hours left of this
Yep.
movie, and you're going to need all 2 hours.
Mhm.
We got through a good bit of it and paused,
I think our first pause was at half an hour, and that was the whole setup.
and it was a lot. We
Yeah.
we had
Yeah.
to, we had to pause. We paused it.
And we
Took
were
a
like,
little break.
"Ooh,
We're like,
this is
okay,
gonna get
this
crazy."
is gonna get nuts, and that was the key about the parts was they kept escalating it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Everything that you saw on the screen got wilder, and it was nuts. It was
Right.
absolutely nuts.
Because once they set up this premise and she's at her like tax collector getting audited, and like, you know, she starts being able to like tap into these other sides or like witnessing what she can do, like that's when everything in the movie starts back at the beginning and we get that part 1 everything.
Yep.
And you're like, what the fuck? Like,
Okay.
did the movie just start again?
Yeah.
And they give you 3 seconds to process everything,
Yep.
and then poof, here you go.
And then you're back into the races.
And if you're
Yeah.
lucky, you get someone walking into somewhere, and you get like 3 steps in the first
Right.
scene, and then woof, here we go.
Yeah, and it is kind of cool how that first section is titled everything, but that's because they just throw everything at you.
Yeah.
So
I mean, honestly.
that's the first time you get to see all these little universes. Because at one point when she gets like sucked back through all of these worlds and she's starting to see everything, she literally sees every possibility that her life could go in, and
Yeah.
it's very confusing at first, but then later you notice some of these things that you saw in a flash come back later.
Right.
So yeah, that it did feel really long for them to get through that, but once they did, yeah, it just whew.
Yeah, I did
Got
enjoy
crazy.
the way they looped back around.
Yes.
Mhm.
That was really, I thought that was really well done. They'd show you something early, later it would bring you back and then expand on what you had seen previous. And
Yeah.
they did it so well where you never expected it, but afterwards you were like, oh, I really enjoyed getting that little tiny piece of information
Right.
more
Mhm.
on one of the 57 plots in the last 14 minutes.
Yeah. Because like at the before we get into that first part, like it literally ends with like them establishing like the villain of this movie. And, like you just see this person walk in, you know, they're touching people, like it's almost like they're like full of static, like their hair's moving as they're touching them.
Yeah.
And then you just see her, this villain, touch Evelyn, and she explodes basically. And then it's
Yeah.
like, oh shit, we're back at the movie part 1. It's like, what did you just show me?
Wait, what happened? What happened?
But then, like, luckily, within this first couple minutes, they go back to that villain, and like they show you this girl jumping through different times,
Yeah.
and they quickly show you, oh, this is Evelyn's daughter. Like, so you're left in the dark at the end of that first part, but they give you like 5 minutes of, oh shit, she's back doing her taxes. Oh, her daughter is evil.
Right.
Apparently. Like,
Yeah.
like, oh my god.
Yeah, both of you kind of simultaneously went, oh, when they connected that
Yeah.
evil presence back
was-
to the daughter.
when it came up, I was like, oh,
Yeah, you
that's,
both went, oh.
I see. I get it now. I see what they're doing here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my god. But like once they show you this daughter as the villain character, like all of a sudden Evelyn is just like going insane. Like she's learning kung fu from her past life. Like
Right.
she's like becoming a chef and using that to like do
Right.
stuff. Like
Well, she's learning how to go everywhere.
Yes,
'Cause
we're in
you
part
get-
2 everywhere.
You get everything. And then now it shows you how you can be everywhere.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, like not,
Yeah, it really jumps back and forth between those different realities in the everywhere section.
Yeah, and like it's kind of hard to touch on like every part in this span of the movie.
They go everywhere.
Yeah, but like
They
They
go
take
everywhere
over.
in sharp detail.
but like essentially this whole first part is her getting a grasp on being able to travel to her past lives. And it all boils up into this one last fight at this IRS place where she now has to fight her daughter, but she's also fighting like
The tax lady. And
yeah, like the tax lady and like people from her own family, but like different versions of them
Right.
from this alpha universe. But like when this first part hits and like she's starting to really gain power, like, you know, she's getting control of the Matrix and like really understanding her role as the one.
This really is just the Matrix.
I mean, it kind of is.
It's kind of everything, everywhere, all at once. You
That's true.
add another one to the counter over there. Just had to get that one in there.
Thank you. Keep that
Yeah.
tally going. Hey.
I felt like being a prick. Sorry.
No, you're
Continue.
fine.
Please
Okay.
continue.
But yeah, so she's starting to tap into all these things and she's fighting her daughter, and her daughter kind of starts like dropping hints like, dude, you don't know what you're doing. You don't know what tapping into all these things is actually going to lead you to. Like, you're going to become like me. And like it all like blows up into Evelyn just puking all over the floor.
Yeah, because she cracked her mind pottery.
Her mind
Yeah.
pottery.
Yeah.
Her mind vase exploded, and that made her puke.
But like this
Duh.
was the biggest like kick to the stomach I think a movie has ever given me, is because she throws up, rolls onto the floor, almost like she's dead, and then the credits start rolling. And like the screen goes black, and it's like it gives us the title of the movie, like who directed it, like all this shit. I'm like, there's no way that's over already. Like, how does that end like that?
Yeah, it ended very quickly, and I immediately had that like, no, that there's no way that's over. That is not the end of this movie. And Michael was like, oh shit, no, they're not doing
They
this.
can't
to
do
us,
this
are
to
they?"
me. I would have been very unhappy.
And then it just, you see the screen zoom
Yep.
out.
Like, good.
It
So-
pans out, and yeah, then it's Evelyn's kung fu actress version who is
Yes.
watching a movie of herself.
One of the key versions where she gets cookies from this person also,
Oh, yes.
who taught her to kill
Mhm.
mercilessly.
Yeah.
I remember the guy who taught me how to kill. He was
He-
he was
I
big on the
didn't-
oatmeal raisins.
I didn't get any cookies.
You went to the wrong guy.
Ugh.
Did you go to Jim down on 64th?
Apparently not.
Ah, dude.
Okay.
You missed out.
Okay,
No
but this
cookies.
movie isn't about cookies, okay? It's about everything bagels.
The everything bagel.
Hold the
is
blood
all.
from pouring from your nose.
Yeah.
But yes, this all boils down to an everything bagel.
The best kind of bagel,
The
I will say.
supreme bagel.
Yeah, I went to Dunkin' yesterday, and they didn't have everything bagels, and I was like, well, I'm gonna leave then. Like,
Guess
that's
I
not
can't be
fair.
everywhere all at once now.
Yeah.
Oh my god! But like, once like I mean I missed the part where the husband is beating everybody with a fanny pack, and I feel
Oh,
like
yeah.
that needed to just be addressed, that he uses a fanny pack to beat the shit out of all these like bank guards.
That
It's
was
kinda
pretty. That was the first time that I said, this movie is amazing.
Right.
When he
God,
started
yeah.
just swinging around the fanny pack. Mm.
Dude, and he whips it around himself and like clips it back on. He's
Well, he
like,
knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
He knows what he's doing.
Dude
He
is
knows people are
awesome.
watching, Steve. He's putting on a show.
Mm.
But like I guess before we move on to the part 2, he kind of establishes that this version of Evelyn is so bad at everything, and she made all the
All at
wrong
once.
Yeah, he cut her real deep.
she made all the wrong choices throughout her life, which allowed every other version of her to become amazing at some aspect in life that this main version of Evelyn never got, because
Well,
she was so bad at
he
picking
was-
the right choices.
He was kind of saying, like, since you were bad at everything, everything's a possibility.
yeah, like so
Right.
you can be great
All
at
of the
everything now.
Consciousnesses they can jump to are kind of from her kind of thing.
Right.
Yeah. Ugh.
They don't really say it outright, but they imply it.
You know, it's like just like some of the lines behind this, like they're delivered pretty comedically, but really they're devastating. Like, can you imagine like somebody just telling you, "Hey, dude, you're so bad at everything.
You're the
like,
worst version of you that exists.
Yeah, like,
Congratulations."
of all the possibilities, you are by far
The worst. The worst.
version." It's like, congrats.
Ugh.
Like,
Yep.
you get a trophy for being the
I don't think you get one. I don't even think you get that.
Is it like a participation award?
I think they
give
just
you a little blue
slap
ribbon?
you.
Hey, congrats, you're the worst.
Smack. And that's it.
And you're fat. Lose weight.
Oh my god. No, when she says that to the daughter, I felt so bad.
Whew.
Oh my god.
I thought it was pretty funny, to be honest, but I was like, oh, she doesn't know how to express herself. Okay.
Oh, yeah. And I mean, I can't really speak, too much on personally having any experience growing up in an Asian cultured household, but I've even heard from, a lot of friends of mine too that it can be really difficult growing up with parents who come from a really strict community and culture. So I think they're also trying to portray that with this whole thing, is that the daughter is trying to just be a normal American girl, basically raised by her parents who are, they don't have an emotional relationship. So this whole thing is them just kind of finding each other and trying to be a family.
All you need is love.
Yeah.
I mean, this is literally a mom's journey through the multiverse to learn how to become a better mother.
mom.
Yeah, it's
Wow.
a manuscript.
Like when
You
you,
have to do
really boil it
exactly.
down,
Yeah.
it's literally her learning to be a more attentive, more caring mother, and to break what her parents did to her. Like, but it took her through the multiverse and an everything bagel to understand, like, no, I love my daughter. I need to accept her in all forms, all shapes, all whatever. But she needed a googly eye on her forehead
The
to
Google,
open her
to
third
make
eye.
it work.
the Google eye.
Yeah.
No more Google eyes.
Oh
That
my
was
god,
funny.
there were so many googly eyes. I love it.
I laughed a good bit in this movie, and also said, "Holy crap!" a lot
Holy
in this
crap.
movie.
No, this whole
It was
second
crazy.
part of the plot,
Nuts.
I was holding back tears through a lot of this stuff because like it's really emotional because like you get more of the daughter and how her mind kind of like shattered and she views all of the multiverses simultaneously and like how it's just kind of driven her to like, oh, nothing matters, like everything
Right.
sucks, like the only reason I came to find this version of my mom is because she needs to see everything the way I do so she can like.
Well, they were
it's-
looking for each other, Steve.
I mean,
They were looking for each other.
yeah, and if they didn't turn into rocks, I don't think they would have.
No, the
They had to turn into
rocks. They seem to work it out as
Yeah.
rocks.
Yeah.
I was proud
Rocks
of
don't
them.
have strong emotions, so
They just
they
talked
just
it
are.
out. They just talked it out.
Yeah.
I mean, for a scene in the second part with literally no dialogue and it's just text across the screen, they talk about some like deep stuff
As rocks.
as rocks, and one of them gets googly eyes. But like, I'm like laughing, but I'm also like, oh my god, this is like touching. Like,
Yeah.
it's so sad.
Yeah. And also the other element of that whole, emotional finding yourself is her also realizing that her life would be nothing without her husband. And, they kind of have their little moment and she gets some flashback scenes of, him raising their daughter together.
Oh my
and by the end of it, she really, she falls back in love with him again. It's very cute.
Yeah, because I mean, he in her main universe, like when this movie starts, he's trying to talk to her to give her divorce papers, and as she starts unlocking her like multiversal whatever, she starts seeing like, oh, maybe my life would have been so much better if I listened to my dad and never went with you, became like a movie star or became like this
Right.
famous chef, because like he's not in my life any of these other universes.
Anything's possible.
Right.
But at that point, all we've seen in this best version of her life where she's an actress and kung fu master.
Yeah.
There's a couple of them that are the best.
Yeah, so like at that point she is only seen up until a certain point, and then in the next part we see her meet again with her husband, which in this life they never got married.
Right.
But she meets with him and they have a conversation of maybe we should have done something about this. And at that point she kind of has like a regret of, well, I mean, if I would have said no to him, I would have regretted it this whole time, because that's really where she was meant to be. So yeah, I think that moment also kind of helped her realize that even if she didn't end up with him, it wouldn't have made her any happier.
Yeah. But I mean, like, oh my God, what was the part? But she, like, all throughout the movie, she's kind of like putting him down, like, oh, my husband's probably making this worse. Oh, my silly husband's probably like gonna
mess it up.
Yeah. And after all of that, you know, she gets to like the epicenter of her own story and realizes, oh, he was always like me.
Right.
He just went about things like a different way.
Yeah, just differently.
And she uses that to, you know, make her way and finally like reach her daughter by fighting like her husband and like being more of a kind, compassionate, like going about things like, oh no, people will understand, like tell them the truth.
Right.
Tell them like, you know, what you're actually feeling.
She looked at everything, and then she looked at herself, you know? Then she took a look.
While she was everywhere
inward.
all at once.
Right.
Sorry.
So she looked at her in herself an infinite amount of times and realized she needed to do better.
Yeah, no, it's like for a movie that's as crazy and all over the place as this movie is, that tells so much more of like a heartwarming story.
Oh, it's a
than,
fantastic story.
Than most things.
My goodness.
Yeah.
Like, you know, there's all those like, you know, teen dramas where it's like, oh, we love each other, but she's gonna die. And it's like, this like all was seriously boiled down to, I want to be a better mother and I need to go through an insane journey to get to that point.
Right.
And like, that's all it had to be. Like,
they showed us an insane journey to get to that point.
Yeah.
And like when she's having that conversation with the daughter at the end and is like, yeah, you know, maybe I shouldn't be here with you. Maybe I don't want to be here with you, but like I choose this every time.
Right.
Like I've seen what's out there. I've seen what I can have, and I still would rather do laundry and taxes.
That's so metal.
Like,
right? It's
oh
pretty
my
metal.
God, like it's so hard not to just be like
and
you get wrapped up in it.
I think something important to point out here is they couldn't have made the movie the way they made the movie if the story wasn't that good.
Yeah, seriously.
There's no way a lesser story could ever pull off what they put on the screen in front of you for the duration of the film.
Yeah.
Like the story had to be good to pull that off, and it far exceeded my expectations.
And every time they cut between something else, it just felt so seamless because they were continuing the same ideas and the same type of story, just in a bunch of different ways. And even when they cut away to the rock scene, like at first you're like, oh my God, what is this?
What is this now?
But then, you know, you kind of start hearing their voices in your own head saying these lines, and it's so genuinely believable.
Right.
That it's amazing what they can do visually to push us so far over the edge of what you think is possible.
Oh my word.
Still like hold it back with the main points of the story.
Yeah, I mean, like, again, like it brings me back to they trust the audience so much to just sit back and let the story unfold. Because like, as like with a concept as crazy as this lady can pull skills from her different universes to help her in the
download them in, get to work.
Right, like something like that.
Heck yeah.
Like we needed a movie like The Matrix to sort of get that concept, like, oh, we're in a computer program, they can download stuff in that movie. In this, it's like they're doing the same thing, but they're pulling it from alternate selves.
Yeah.
So like for a concept as off the freaking wall as that is, like you were saying, they don't overly explain anything to you. They don't like hold your hand and they're like, okay, little buddy, this is
Not at
this
all.
is important. Pay attention.
Yeah, they don't explain anything.
No, like they really put it in your hands and like they give you that first 30, like whenever we paused it after 34 minutes,
First half hour or something.
they give you that much to be like, okay, I kind of understand the concept. There's going to be some weird shit about to happen. And then that part 1 takes place and they push it up a level. Then that part 2 hits and then they don't
push it up.
Like
They push
levels.
it through the ceiling.
well, I would say like they don't necessarily push it up in like the craziness because they already kind of established the craziness.
No, they did some wild
they
stuff.
push it up in like the emotional side of like why it matters.
Sorry, I hit my head
Again?
on my microphone.
Oh no.
I have
like,
to
the
laugh
fuck?
at it because it's funny to me.
But yeah, I mean, even as we break for comedy in this podcast, they also do that in the movie where, you know, you're having all these really serious moments and then something cuts away and it gives you a little chuckle, which is kind of nice.
Yeah, they definitely have some relief in there,
Yeah.
but it's small and short, and you're gonna be like, "Oh, that was cool. All right, something else." And then-
right.
Yeah,
which is
like
the whole style of the film. So
and like an emotional scene where like the daughter is first like revealed as the villain and is attacking guards in front of her mom. You know, she's beating people to death with dildos. So,
Yeah, I love that part.
so
That
it's
was
like-
great.
that was kind of funny.
like you
That's
see
pretty
like
cool.
the shock in Evelyn's face, but then you turn around and she literally claps a dude's ears with 2 giant rubber dicks. Like, so it's like they have that moment of like, holy shit, this is ridiculous. But then you cut back to Evelyn and you're like, oh shit, she's like mortified.
Right.
And I love when she stops caring. Like at first she's like, what is going on? And then at a certain point she's like, yeah, whatever could happen. I don't care.
Yeah. She starts like breaking her own laundromat. She beats the shit out
Right?
of Jamie Lee Curtis.
Wow.
She's like, I always hated this place. She starts
she-
smashing windows.
That's when she knows what she needs to do, and she sets off and does it. Then
Yeah. Nah, this was.
can we talk about Jamie Lee Curtis now?
Yeah, let's
Oh,
talk about
yeah,
Jamie
yeah.
Lee Curtis.
Can we do
we
that?
Kind of, we
Go
kind of
for
glossed
it.
over Jamie.
Yeah,
She did win an Oscar, so we should talk about her.
yeah, and that pretty cool. That was pretty cool.
That was a
Not
much
gonna
different
lie.
role than I
Not
would
gonna
ever
lie.
expect.
I
From
kind of
Jamie
like
Lee.
seeing her try to murder people.
Oh my
it was
God.
great.
They
I had
made
a
her-
great time.
They
Yeah.
made her the Michael Myers. She was a fucking tank,
Well,
dude.
I wouldn't say that, but
Yeah.
they definitely.
All right, they gave her a beer belly.
Well, yeah, they did.
Little
They
bit,
did,
little
which was
bit.
funny.
Yeah.
But to me, she knocked it out of the park.
Yeah. I think that was Michael's favorite
Oh, it was great.
person. in the
Watching
whole movie.
Jamie Lee Curtis beat the dog shit out of people.
Oh my
It was
God.
fantastic.
Dude, she drop kicks Evelyn through the fucking wall.
Mhm.
When they would switch her personality and you would see it in the scene,
Mm.
whatever the situation does, it was fantastic.
Oh my God,
Like,
yeah.
The hot dog fingers.
Yes.
Her version of the hot dog. Like, she got several versions of herself that was on screen for a good while.
Mhm.
And I don't know, each one of them, she killed it. I
my
loved
God,
it.
yeah.
I loved it. It was great.
Mm.
Yeah.
Oh,
No.
freaking hot dog fingers.
Oh my God.
So-
I'm gonna have nightmares about hot dog fingers.
Yeah.
She dished
uh,
some damage.
I didn't like the
onto.
noises that they made.
Oh my God. And they
Um,
kept slapping them against their thigh.
Mhm.
Well, that's how you
Oh.
dance. When you have hot dogs for
That's
fingers.
true. You gotta.
Obviously.
But so the first time she taps into that world, she doesn't know how to use her hands because they're all floppy.
Yeah.
And then later we see her at the end of the movie finally figure out what to do with that version of herself. After we see a scene of her playing piano with her feet, she realizes that she can use her feet like fists
Yeah.
and punch people with her feet.
Yeah, she was doing martial arts with her toes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
she was choking dudes out. Those are some powerful pinkies.
Yeah. Speaking of pinky, she also does pinky push-ups.
Oh my God, her
and starts punching people with her pinky.
dude, when she flexed her
She
pinky and it had a
flexed her
huge
pinky
bicep.
and it had a bicep. And it was massive.
Oh
And
my
then
God.
started tossing people with her pinkies.
Oh
It was
God.
yeah. Oh, it
So
was
this
nuts.
is an action movie. This was a comedy. This was a drama. This was a sci-fi film.
Little bit of a thriller.
A little bit of a thriller.
A little bit of a thriller.
Little horror-ish at times.
Not
when I
too
saw
much
the hot dog fingers, I was pretty scared.
Not too much suspense though. They kind of just here you go.
They really
they
give
didn't
you
make
a
you
lot.
wait for anything
Yeah.
really.
True. Yeah, it was really just full speed ahead. But yeah, I liked that
Mecha
about
Suit
it.
Grandpa. Mecha Suit Grandpa.
Oh my god.
Yeah, there are just so
Craziness.
many things that you can't even possibly talk about them all.
And like it's this is one of those movies where it's definitely hard to talk about because so much happens, and if you just touch on any of these parts, like we're like, oh yeah, there's a version of Jamie Lee Curtis and a version of Evelyn with hot dog fingers who are in a relationship, then they break up, and then they realize, oh, they need each other because their mustard melds with their ketchup.
Right.
Like,
Oh my god.
if we were to sit here and say stuff like that,
It's
which I didn't just
impossible.
do, like, it
There's
wouldn't
no
make
way.
it just doesn't do this movie justice
Mhm.
to try and talk about it, because it's like you just need to see it. It's so crazy and it's so good.
It's like an onion. There are so many layers.
there's all of the layers.
So many layers.
But it was one of the few times where I knew the movie was going to be wild going into it.
Yeah.
And then it was way more wild than I thought.
It's pretty freaking wild.
And I was expecting wild because you see the trailer and you're like, oh, this is going to be crazy. And then for the first little bit, you're like, this is crazy. And then afterwards, you're like,
keeps getting
am
crazy.
I'm going insane.
Yeah.
I'm now an insane person.
Am I watching a movie or am I currently in an insane
It's like,
asylum?
There's a whole scene where the two characters are fighting as a little kid's drawing.
And they were pinata, the 2D
my
drawing.
God,
Oh,
the
yeah.
pinatas.
The pinatas.
Oh my god. And then people are fighting literally over a butt plug so they can get different powers. But to get the different powers, they need to stick stuff up their butts.
Because you
so
got to
they
do
fight
something
better.
weird. Because
Like,
it gives her power.
Oh my god, dude. This
Bananas.
Movie, it was a trip. It was a definite
A trip and a half.
It was really trippy. And, in the end, it was all about love and finding
Love.
yourself.
Yeah.
Love conquers all.
Yep.
Love conquers all.
Oh my god.
It was pretty deep.
Yeah.
Some socio
That bag of hole was pretty
Oh my
deep,
God.
man.
social commentary.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't say tastefully jammed down your throat, but it was like, no, this is a great story. This is exactly what's going on.
Yeah, and I mean,
Yeah.
what it boils down to, a big part of it is, her daughter is in a relationship with a woman, and it's basically her accepting that, which is it feels like a very current, theme to talk about. But they go into, being in a lesbian relationship a few times, and we see it with Evelyn and Jamie Lee Curtis, and then with her daughter and everything. But yeah, it doesn't feel like a preachy movie about we need to accept gay people. It was more about like her mother accepting her for what she was.
Right.
Yeah,
but
not
I
like
mean,
worrying about what the father thought,
right.
or anything like that.
But yeah, I mean, the main points was really acceptance and love and friendship, gayness.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
But you are correct. It just told a story, and that
Yeah.
was it. It
Yeah.
didn't. There wasn't any feeling looming afterwards. I was relieved that their family was a family again,
Yeah.
Mm.
and that was it. You just glide out of the film. So they take you on this absolutely ridiculous ride,
And then they just live their lives.
and then just let you out,
Yeah.
Yeah, and it just goes to show, no matter where you could have ended up in life, you're perfect where you are.
Well,
Wow.
I think you mean you'd always be where you are,
You're
Everywhere.
meant to be where
Yeah.
you are.
all at once. What a
Ding.
I don't know. Loved it. I
Yeah,
thought it was great.
Loved it.
It was
100%.
100% loved it.
Mm-hmm. 5 out of 5 stars.
Martial arts was fantastic.
Oh my God, yeah.
Mm.
I think we definitely undersold the fanny pack scene.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and
Th-
all
it
of
was
the
that was
martial arts.
that was very impressive.
It was.
I don't know the fella's
Yeah.
name. Killed it.
Oh,
yeah, it
Killed
really gave like Jackie
Absolute-
Chan movie vibes, which I really
Which
appreciate.
it
Oh my
hasn't
God,
happened
yeah.
for like
Yeah.
10 years.
Yeah, no, we haven't
Mhm.
had fight scenes like that since like those Ip
It
Man
was so
movies.
good. I
Yeah.
loved it.
Like, oh my God, so cool. And like they even filmed it like one of those old like Jackie Chan
Yup.
movies. Like
Mhm.
they focused on the action. It wasn't like cut up like one of these Marvel movie fights. Like they
It's-
put you
Steve's
in there.
bashing Marvel. Wow.
Yes.
Well, I'll just
Write
say
it down.
Yeah, check your calendars. It'll never happen again. But no,
We'll
like,
get him to say it again. Don't worry about it.
when you actually have people who can do the fights, it's like when you put Keanu Reeves in those
It's so
John
good.
Wick movies.
It's always good.
Yeah, they can do these fight scenes. They can do this choreography. Like the lady who plays Evelyn was like a stunt person back in like the days of Jackie Chan movies. Like
I
there's
didn't know
clips of her like falling out of cars, and like one of her most famous scenes
yeah.
is she rides this motorcycle off of a ramp onto a moving train and almost misses it. And like they got it on film, and she could have died.
You're talking the main
Yeah,
actress?
the main actress.
Yeah.
I didn't
She's
know
a
that.
gangster.
Yeah.
Wow.
She's an absolute gangster.
Yeah, like she
Wow.
did all of her own stuff for this. Like she knew how
Yeah.
to fight. Like, and she's up there in age, and like she's still kicking ass.
I
Like,
wouldn't say that. I thought she
Okay.
looked great.
She should have gotten an Oscar then. She should have.
Well, like I said, not everybody in the movie can win one though.
She needs to win something.
They
that
all
was great.
They all did fabulous.
yeah,
Yeah.
Which
that was great.
made it what it was. The
Mhm.
crazy, insane story told perfectly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's definitely
No.
a once in a lifetime movie.
I
Yeah.
don't say that much, but that was really good.
Yeah, I
Mhm.
have no nitpicks with this movie. From
Wow.
from start to finish, I was buckled
That's-
in for the ride,
wow.
and I was ready. Like that was great.
Yeah, I like that you actually were able to accept this movie for what it was, because sometimes it's hard for Steve to just like blindly follow movies, because a lot of times
well-
you like the explanation and going into
This one
Yeah.
forced you to.
yeah,
Yeah,
Like,
I
you
like,
don't have a choice with this.
right.
Yeah, because I always I like knowing why certain things are gonna happen or why they happen.
Nope.
This movie, I was just like, oh, you're not gonna tell me? Okay, I'm actually perfectly fine with that.
But you ended
They
up
have-
caring
Yes.
so much.
Mhm. And you do learn why. You just learn it in a different way. That's
Right.
not them spoon feeding it to you.
That's what I mean. The way they told the story was just fantastic.
I know.
Yeah.
I couldn't have asked for anything different.
Yeah.
It's like they took inspiration from everything everywhere
All
all
at
at once. it was
Oh my god.
it was kind of great.
No.
Good movie. Good
Do
movie.
you guys have any favorite parts? Like, what was your favorite parts out of this?
I liked the double dildo slapping.
The double dildo slapping.
Yeah, that
Okay.
was pretty fun.
What about you, Michael?
I like the fumbling while fighting, like when
Okay.
she's learning how,
Right.
where she's like halfway in one with one skill set and halfway in the other
Oh,
while
okay.
she's fighting some of those early scenes. I
That's
thought that
cool.
was really cool how you understood why
Right.
things were, and you also
Mhm.
were just enjoying it too.
Yeah.
No, I love that when like she's fighting that one guy and they both hit each other on the earpieces and they come out of it and they just start like
They just start. they just start
Slapping each other?
slap fighting each other. It was.
oh my god.
They-
it's
Is that
so
your
funny.
favorite?
They did that a few times.
Yeah.
No, honestly, it was that scene at the end where she's talking to the daughter and gives like her final explanation of like, yeah, I've seen it all, I've done it all, I could be it all, but like I want to like it. It was just such like a perfect like ending dot to the movie. Like, yeah, you saw all this crazy shit. Who cares? You're about to feel something.
Yeah.
And then they kind of hammer you with it.
Yeah,
They
oh my
hammer you
God.
with it.
I'm sitting.
I
there,
enjoyed it though.
I was literally leaning forward in this movie, like with my hand over my mouth, and I'm like,
Holding
"Don't."
back tears.
I'm like, "Don't cry, don't cry,
Don't cry.
You're 30 years old. You don't cry."
right?
Oh, Steve, you can cry.
Oh, like
Hear it loud, but I prefer if you didn't.
yeah, like there's few movies where I'm like, "Oh man, that's just touching and like sad," and
Oh.
like
that
this was-
touched me in my special place.
Oh, and
Yeah.
I love sad stories.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
And I will say I did think this was just going to end up being a sad story, and then
Mhm.
it wasn't. And it would have hit like a truck if this was a sad
Oh my
story.
God,
Yeah.
But I'm
yeah.
so glad they. I mean,
they brought it back around.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they always looped everything.
Mm-hmm.
Everywhere.
So I should
All at
have
once.
seen that coming.
Ding. We're up to 57.
Hold on, let me
I don't know.
let me
I'm not
paper cut
counting.
myself or
Ah!
swallow like a turtle.
chapstick.
Like yeah,
Eat
the
a
guy
tube of
eats
chapstick.
Guy
chapstick.
eats chapstick.
And then she swallows like a mold of
yeah,
a
like a-
turtle or
yeah.
something. Just
Oh.
swallow. Hits
We're
the
gonna be
button.
talking about this movie for the rest of all time because
honestly-
there's just so many moments
Nah.
that were so crazy.
Yeah, but I think we should probably maybe end it there and just end it with a please just go watch this. Like, it needs more. I'm sure everybody in the fucking world saw it, but if you haven't, you've been living under a rock. Like, check it out.
Swallow your pride. Go watch this
yeah.
movie.
a rock that doesn't talk to other rocks like
Yeah.
a loser.
But no,
Loser rock.
just on a side note, when I was IMDbing this, like, the first review that popped up was, I didn't get the hype. This movie fucking sucked. I was like you must have watched something else. Like, you were watching like the Asylum ripoff or
Yeah.
something.
Yeah, you didn't watch this movie.
Also,
No.
people
You
that
watched
say
it
things
for-
like that don't matter. So
Yeah, no.
They probably watched it alone and didn't pay attention.
Also, I can only talk about my experience with the movie because
Yeah.
I experienced everything all at once,
Everywhere?
everywhere,
Never all at once.
everything, everywhere, all at once.
From everything, everywhere, all at once, every film in the book.
Thank you for being everywhere, every time, all the once,
All
all at once.
Oh my god, my nose is bleeding again.
I only like this sometimes.
But yeah, thanks for checking us out. We'll catch you guys next time. Bye.
Bye.
Oh my god, my nose.